I've been covering palm oil for about the past 3 years, and every time I ask a palm oil trader, is this green campaign having an effect? And there's always two responses. They say no, because China and India are much bigger and they don't care about sustainability. That's one thing. The other thing is they sort of say that. It's starting to come out in the cash markets. A lot of palm oil is actually being segregated, and you're getting a sort of artificial supply squeeze, and that's how you see prices, cash prices at least, going up. I'm going to try and frame this whole discussion by looking at the various issues which have come up this year. And I mean, the biggest one, which was, Nestle and Unilever cutting supply ties with, two big Indonesian producers. And, this was, basically because Greenpeace was really successful. I mean, they had this really great social media campaign, which highlighted how, palm oil, how palm oil firms were destroying forests to expand. And, in this picture that, Reuters has taken, this was at an AGM, in I think April 15th, and you have Greenpeace coming out with this, give orangutans a break, and that really changed everything in terms of perceptions. The second point is mostly to do with the roundtable on sustainable palm oil. I mean, you do have some producers, mostly Malaysian and Indonesian producers, who are not really happy with a price premium of $8 to $9 a ton for eco-friendly palm oil, because I mean, the total cost of it comes up to about 13 to $15. I know, and that's about 1% of a ton of palm oil at current prices. But I mean, this is something that palm oil producers have always been very upset about. Why should I pay so much more money, and people don't seem to be taking it up. The third point is this whole moratorium on forest clearing by palm oil and timber companies. I mean, this has become a big issue because of Norway planning to give Indonesia at least $1 billion to protect rainforests. So I'm going to just sort of frame the whole issues with this. This is a question I always ask traders. Does Greenpeace influence palm oil prices? And you know what? Maybe. The impact now, for sure, is in the Indonesian physical palm oil markets. I did a story last month, and it was about Malaysia's IOI Corp. They have actually stopped sourcing palm oil from a key Indonesian producer. And this has created an artificial supply squeeze. And, we've seen Indonesians' physical prices actually rise up by 10%, but because this particular producer in Indonesia makes up, at least a tenth of total Indonesian output. And this is the thing that people don't see about palm oil producers. They actually buy palm oil from each other. And, with this whole scrutiny from the green groups, you see a lot of companies actually creating these separate supply chains, and you sort of get and you sort of get this whole tensions and this tightness in supply. But at the same time, part of the reason for prices going up is, despite this whole green campaign, you still have European demand for palm oil, staying very resilient, and part of the reason which traders always keep talking about is because, rapeseed oil and soy oil are just getting increasingly channeled into the energy sector. And, palm oil is just left to be the one which fills up the vacuum in the food industry. For instance, cargo surveyors this month have been talking about, European demand going up, doubling from last month. And, it's partly because of the drought hitting the oilseed crops in the Black Sea. That's one reason. And it's also because, populations there are still kind of growing, and people... And people need to eat more food, so that's where you get all that. And the biofuel sector, even though it does kind kind of, cut off palm oil, through all the various EU initiatives, but, palm oil just still fills up the food sector in that sense. Moving on, so the question we always ask is, what is happening to eco-friendly palm oil? And currently, right now, the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil has certified about 3 million tons, which is about 6% of global production. I really beg to differ, but I don't think that, uptake has been that great, because of the issue I highlighted. The premium is not that great. It's too high, and producers, think that the premium just hardly covers the cost of certifying and building, separate supply chains. I guess the big boys like, the big Malaysian and Indonesian refiners, this might not be an issue, but for small companies and, if you're looking at smallholders, this would be an issue, and that is something that I think RSPO is trying to work out. But a lot of investment analysts have been saying that, this premium will get eroded, once more palm oil estates get RSPO certified, and we could get, more supply of this green vegetable oil. The palm oil traders do have a point. Just relying on European buyers, just focusing the campaign on the European market may not be enough, because the region just accounts for 10 to 12% of global demand. And the thing is, you have to sort of get, top buyers like China and India involved, in this whole RSPO initiative or whatever environmental initiative, although, these are price-sensitive buyers, and, the price premium for green palm oil is going to be an issue. So what can be done? There's Godrej International's Dorab Mistry, who's a palm oil analyst, and he has some interesting ideas, and I leave it to the floor to decide whether these are good enough. One of his quotes is, that the import duty on palm oil should differentiate between sustainable and other palm oil. A 1% concession to sustainable palm oil or a 1% additional levy on other palm oil will strongly incentivize the switch to sustainable palm oil in India. Another another idea he had was, once we get to a sustainable palm oil capacity of 5 million tons, suppliers should offer to supply sustainable palm oil at a nominal or token premium of $1 per ton. I told that to a trader, and he said, hell no way, that's not going to work. But, we can talk about it. What about the future? The whole focus on oil palms and this, Norway, supposed to hand over 1 billion to Indonesia. We're going to definitely see, oil palm estate expansion plans slow down, and we've already seen that, in Indonesia, especially. At the height of the whole, palm oil price frenzy, we had actually seen, expansion by 600,000 hectares a year. And now it's slowed down to about 250,000. In the future, that could actually translate to really tight vegetable oil supplies, because we have the booming populations in India, China, and even Africa for that matter. And analysts have always been talking about palm oil prices going up to about 3,000 ringgit a ton. Within, as soon as next year, and even staying above there for the next couple of years, if that's possible. Of course, you can always argue the fact that palm oil companies or rather estates need to increase their yields, look at expanding at other countries like Africa. But those have their own problems as well, and so I just leave you with all these questions, and that's it. Thank you.